The ship was cold. That was the first thing Yuna noticed when she stepped on to the Galactic Academy station. The air felt thin and carried a strange smell, like metal mixed with flowers. She pulled her jacket tighter and looked around. Aliens walked past her in every direction. Some were tall and thin, like walking sticks. Others were short and wide with too many arms. A few floated instead of walking. Yuna had seen pictures during her training on Earth, but seeing them in real life was different. Her heart beat fast, but she kept her face calm. She was here to represent humanity. Earth had only joined the galactic community 5 years ago. Humans were still new, still unknown, still judged. A small device on her wrist beeped. It showed her the way to her first class, physical assessment. The name made her nervous. She had trained for 2 years before coming here, running, lifting, climbing, fighting. But she did not know what the aliens expected. The classroom was large. The ceiling was so high that Yuna could not see the top. Strange lights floated in the air, giving everything a soft blue glow. About 30 students sat on different types of chairs. Some chairs were normal, others looked like pools of water. One was just a pile of warm rocks. Yuna found an empty seat near the back. It was a normal chair, clearly made for beings with 2 legs. She sat down and waited. The student next to her turned to look. He was covered in gray fur and had 4 eyes. Each eye blinked at a different time. "Human?" he asked. His voice was soft and curious. "Yes," Yuna said. "From Earth. I am Bello. From the Mist Worlds." He made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You are very small." Yuna smiled but did not answer. She was used to comments like this. On the journey here, every alien she met said something about her size. Humans were not the smallest species in the galaxy, but they were far from the biggest. The door at the front of the room opened. A creature walked in that made Yuna hold her breath. It was massive. Its body was covered in dark green scales that looked like armor. It had 4 thick legs and 2 powerful arms. Its head was flat and wide with a mouth full of sharp teeth. 2 yellow eyes scanned the room. This was Instructor Vorn. Yuna had read about his species. They were called the Krath. They came from a heavy gravity world where everything was dangerous. The Krath were apex predators. Nothing on their planet hunted them. "Sit," Vorn said. His voice was deep and rough, like stones grinding together. "Today we begin physical assessment. Every species has strengths. Every species has weaknesses. In this class, you will learn both." He walked slowly between the rows of students. His heavy footsteps shook the floor. "The galaxy is not safe," Vorn continued. "War, disaster, accident. You may need to use your body to survive. This class will prepare you." He stopped in the middle of the room and looked around. "But first, I must see what you can do. Today, each of you will give a demonstration. Show the class your species' physical ability." A murmur went through the room. Some students looked excited. Others looked worried. Yuna felt her stomach tighten. Vorn pointed at a student in the front row. It was a creature that looked like a giant insect with 6 legs and a hard shell. "Crix, you first." Crix stood up and walked to the front. Without warning, he jumped. His body shot toward the ceiling so fast that Yuna could barely follow with her eyes. He grabbed a floating light, hung there for a moment, then dropped back down. He landed without a sound. "Impressive," Vorn said. "The Crix can jump 40 times their body height. Next." One by one, students went to the front. A snake-like creature showed how it could squeeze through a tiny hole. A being made of living rock showed how it could survive extreme heat. A creature with 8 arms showed how it could climb any surface. Each demonstration was amazing. Each one reminded Yuna that humans were not special, not in the ways that mattered here. Then Vorn's eyes found her. "Human," he said, "you are next." The room went quiet. Every alien turned to look at her. Yuna felt their eyes like weights pressing down on her. She stood up slowly and walked to the front. Her legs felt weak, but she did not let it show. She had trained too hard to show fear now. "Tell us," Vorn said. "What can humans do?" Yuna opened her mouth to answer, but a voice cut her off. "Nothing impressive." The words came from the back of the room. Yuna turned to look. A massive creature stood up from his seat. He was even bigger than Vorn. His body was covered in silver scales that caught the light. He had a long tail and claws that looked like knives. His eyes were red and cold. "I am Roka," the creature said, "from the Fang Collective." Yuna had heard of them. The Fang Collective was a group of predator species. They were warriors and hunters. They believed strength was everything. Roka walked toward the front of the room. Each step he took was heavy and slow, like he wanted everyone to see how big he was. He stopped next to Yuna and looked down at her. He was more than 8 feet tall. Yuna barely reached his chest. "Humans," Roka said loudly, "are weak. I have studied your species. You have no claws, no armor, no venom. Your senses are dull. Your reflexes are slow." He smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "You are prey animals that learn to use tools, nothing more." Some students laughed. Others nodded in agreement. Yuna felt anger rise in her chest, but she pushed it down. Getting angry would not help. She needed to be smart. "Every species has its strengths," she said calmly. Roka laughed. It was a harsh sound, like metal scraping. "Then show us. Show us what makes humans worthy of standing in this academy." He stepped back and crossed his arms. His red eyes watched her with amusement. He did not see her as a threat. He did not see her as anything at all. Vorn looked at Yuna. "The Fang speaks truth in one way. Words are not enough. You must demonstrate." Yuna looked around the room. Every eye was on her. They all expected her to fail. They all expected her to prove that humans were nothing special. She took a deep breath. Her trainers on Earth had prepared her for this moment. They had told her what humans could really do, not what made them the strongest or the fastest, but what made them survivors. "I will demonstrate," Yuna said, "but not today." Roka snorted. "Afraid?" "No," Yuna replied. "I want to do it properly, tomorrow. Give me 1 day to prepare." Vorn studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "Very well. Tomorrow the human will demonstrate." Class dismissed. As students began to leave, Roka leaned close to Yuna. His breath was hot and smelled like blood. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "everyone will see what you really are. Weak, small, prey." Yuna looked up at him without fear. "Tomorrow," she said quietly, "you will learn something new." She walked out of the classroom without looking back. Her heart was pounding, but her mind was clear. She had 1 day to prepare, 1 day to show them all what humanity could do. She was not going to waste it. The news spread fast. By the time Yuna reached her small room on the station, everyone knew. The human had challenged Roka. The human had promised to demonstrate something impressive. The human was either brave or stupid. Most aliens thought she was stupid. Yuna sat on her bed and looked out the window. Stars filled the darkness of space. Somewhere out there was Earth, her home, her family, her people. They were all counting on her, even if they did not know it. She thought about what she would do tomorrow. Her trainers had taught her many things. Humans were not the strongest species. They were not the fastest. They were not the toughest. But they had something else, something that most aliens did not understand. Humans were built to last. A knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. Yuna stood up and opened it. Bello stood there, his 4 eyes blinking nervously. "May I come in?" he asked. Yuna stepped aside and let him enter. The furry alien looked around her small room with curiosity. "Your room is very plain," he said. I do not need much, Yuna replied. Bello sat down on the floor. His people did not use chairs. I came to warn you, he said. Roka is telling everyone about tomorrow. He says he will make you look foolish. He says humans do not belong in the academy. Yuna nodded slowly. She had expected this. What do you think? She asked. Bello was quiet for a moment. His fur rippled, which meant he was thinking hard. I do not know much about humans, he admitted, but I know Roka. He is cruel. He enjoys hurting those weaker than him. Many students are afraid of him. Are you afraid of him? Yes, Bello said honestly. My people are not fighters. We are thinkers and builders. Roka could kill me without effort. Yuna sat down across from him. Then why are you here? Why warn me? Bello's eyes blinked one after another. Because you did not look afraid, he said. When Roka stood over you, when he insulted your species, you did not shake. You did not run. You looked at him like he was just another problem to solve. He paused. I want to know why. Yuna smiled. It was a small smile, but real. Because fear does not help, she said. Roka wants me to be afraid. If I show fear, he wins. If I run, he wins. The only way to beat him is to stand and face him. But he is so much bigger than you, so much stronger. Size is not everything, Yuna said. Strength is not everything. On Earth we have a saying, it is not the size of the dog in the fight, it is the size of the fight in the dog. Bello looked confused. What is a dog? Yuna laughed softly. A small animal, but very brave, very loyal. They do not give up, even against larger enemies. Bello seemed to think about this. Then he stood up. I hope you are right, he said. I hope you show them something amazing tomorrow. I will try, Yuna promised. After Bello left, Yuna lay down on her bed. Sleep did not come easily. Her mind kept racing with thoughts about tomorrow, about what she would do, about what could go wrong. The next morning, she woke up early. She ate a simple breakfast and did her stretches. Her body felt good, strong, ready. The walk to the classroom felt different today. Every alien she passed looked at her. Some whispered to their friends. Some laughed. Some just stared with curiosity. When she entered the classroom, it was already full. More students had come today than yesterday. Word had spread far. Everyone wanted to see what the human would do. Roka sat in the front row. His silver scales gleamed under the floating lights. His red eyes found Yuna immediately. He smiled, showing all his teeth. The prey arrives, he said loudly. I thought you might run away in the night. Some students laughed. Yuna ignored them and walked to her seat. Instructor Vorn entered the room. He looked around and noticed the extra students. It seems today's demonstration has attracted attention, he said. His voice showed no emotion, but his yellow eyes lingered on Yuna for a moment. Before we begin, Vorn continued, let me remind everyone of the rules. Physical demonstrations are not fights. No one is to be harmed. This is about showing ability, not causing injury. Roka snorted. Injury requires contact. The human will not get close enough to touch me. More laughter filled the room. Vorn raised one clawed hand. Silence fell immediately. Human, he said. Are you ready? Yuna stood up. Her heart was beating fast, but her hands were steady. I am ready, she said. She walked to the front of the room. Every step felt heavy. Every eye watched her. Roka stood up too. He moved to stand across from her like they were about to fight. Tell us, Vorn said. What will you demonstrate? Yuna looked at Roka. Then she looked at the class. Then she looked back at Vorn. Human lifting strength, she said. The room erupted in noise. Aliens laughed and shouted. Some made sounds she did not recognize, but the meaning was clear. They thought she was joking. Lifting? Roka said with disbelief. Your species is tiny. My youngest offspring could lift more than you. Yuna stayed calm. How much do you weigh? She asked him. Roka's eyes narrowed. What? Your weight. In Earth measurements, approximately how much? Roka thought for a moment. About 400 of your pounds. Perhaps more. The aliens in the class murmured. That was heavy even by galactic standards. Roka was a massive predator from a species known for their size and power. Good, Yuna said. She began to stretch her arms and back. Please stand in the center of the room. Roka did not move. He looked at her like she had lost her mind. You cannot be serious, he said. I am very serious. The room went quiet. Even the aliens who had been laughing fell silent. They sensed something was about to happen. Vorn leaned forward in his seat. His yellow eyes were sharp and focused. Do as she asks, he said to Roka. This is her demonstration. Roka's tail swished behind him. He was annoyed, but he walked to the center of the room. He stood there with his arms crossed, looking down at Yuna with contempt. Now what, little human? Will you tickle me? Yuna did not answer. She walked toward him slowly. She studied his body, looked at how he stood, measured his weight in her mind. On Earth, she had trained with heavy objects for years, sandbags, stones, metal weights. Her instructors had pushed her to her limits again and again. They had taught her the proper way to lift, the proper way to use her whole body as one machine. 400 pounds was heavy, very heavy, but it was not impossible. She stopped in front of Roka. Her head barely reached his chest. His shadow fell over her completely. Hold still, she said. Roka laughed. I could not stop you even if I wanted to. You are too weak to move me. Yuna did not reply. She took a deep breath, then another. She felt her heart slow down. Her mind became clear and focused. She bent her knees, lowered her body, positioned her hands. Roka watched with amusement. What are you doing? Are you going to worship me? The class laughed again. Yuna wrapped her arms around Roka's body. She found the right grip. She planted her feet firmly on the ground. What? Roka started to say. Then Yuna lifted. She did not just lift with her arms. She lifted with her legs, her back, her core. Every muscle in her body worked together in perfect harmony. Roka's feet left the ground. The laughter stopped. The room went completely silent. Yuna stood straight, holding 400 pounds of apex predator in her arms. Roka hung there, his tail swinging helplessly, his red eyes wide with shock. No one moved. No one spoke. No one breathed. Yuna looked up at Roka's shocked face. Still think humans are prey? She asked. Time seemed to stop in that classroom. Every alien sat frozen in their seat. Every eye was fixed on the small human woman holding the massive predator in her arms. Roka could not speak. His mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. His red eyes were huge with shock. His clawed hands hung uselessly at his sides. He had never felt so helpless in his entire life. Yuna did not put him down. Not yet. She held him for 5 seconds, then 10, then 20. Her arms shook slightly, but she did not drop him. Her face was red with effort, but her grip stayed firm. 30 seconds. The muscles in her legs burned. Her back screamed for relief. Every part of her body wanted her to let go. But she held on. 40 seconds. Finally, she bent her knees and lowered Roka gently to the ground. She did not throw him or drop him. She placed him down with care, like he was something valuable. Roka stumbled backward. His legs seemed weak. He stared at Yuna like he was seeing her for the first time. The silence in the room was absolute. No one knew what to say. They had all expected the human to fail. They had all expected to laugh at her. Instead, they had witnessed something impossible. Instructor Vorn stood up slowly. His heavy footsteps echoed in the quiet room as he walked toward Yuna. "Remarkable," he said. His deep voice was soft, almost gentle. "I have taught at this academy for 40 cycles. I have seen many demonstrations. I have never seen anything like this." Yuna bowed her head slightly. "Thank you, instructor." "Tell me," Vorn continued, "is this ability common among humans?" Yuna thought about how to answer. She wanted to be honest, but she also wanted to represent her people well. "Not all humans can lift this much weight," she admitted. "I trained for many years to reach this level, but the ability exists in all of us. With enough training, many humans could do what I just did." Vorn nodded slowly. "Your species was classified as mid-tier in physical ability. I begin to think that classification was wrong." He turned to face the class. His yellow eyes swept across the room. "Let this be a lesson to all of you," he said. "Never judge a species by appearance alone. Never assume you know their limits. The galaxy is full of surprises." Slowly, the silence broke. Students began to whisper to each other. The whispers grew into conversations. The conversations grew into noise. Bello jumped up from his seat and ran to Yuna. His 4 eyes were bright with excitement. "That was incredible," he said. "You lifted him like he weighed nothing. How did you do it?" Yuna smiled tiredly. "He did not weigh nothing. He weighed very, very much." "But you held him for so long, 40 seconds, with 400 pounds. "I trained," Yuna said simply, "every day for 2 years. My body learned to adapt." Other students began to approach her. The insect-like Crix came close and studied her arms with curiosity. "Your muscles are not very large," he observed. "How can you be so strong with small muscles?" "Human muscles are dense," Yuna explained. "They are efficient. We do not need to be big to be strong." A creature made of living crystal stepped forward. Its body chimed softly as it moved. "On my world, we do not have muscles at all. I did not know organic beings could have such strength." "Every species is different," Yuna said. "That is what makes the galaxy interesting." As she spoke with the curious students, she noticed Roka standing alone in the corner of the room. His silver scales seemed dull now. His red eyes stared at the floor. He looked smaller somehow, even though his size had not changed. Yuna felt a strange emotion, not pride, not satisfaction, something closer to sympathy. She had proven her point, but she had also hurt his pride, in front of everyone he knew. The class ended, but students did not leave immediately. Many stayed to ask Yuna more questions. They wanted to know about Earth, about humans, about their training methods and physical abilities. Yuna answered as best she could. She was tired and her body ached, but she understood how important this moment was. Every question she answered was a chance to change how aliens saw humanity. Eventually, the room emptied. Only Yuna, Vorn, and Roka remained. Vorn walked to his desk and picked up a tablet. He touched the screen a few times. "I am sending a report to the Galactic Species Classification Board," he said. "I am recommending that humanity be reclassified. Your species deserves recognition." "Thank you," Yuna said. "But I did not do this for classification." "Why did you do it then?" Yuna looked at Roka, who still stood in the corner. "Because he said humans were nothing," she said. "Because everyone believed him." "I wanted them to see the truth." Vorn made a sound that might have been approval. "Truth is valuable. Many species hide their abilities. They prefer to be underestimated. You chose to reveal your strength. That takes courage." He walked toward the door, then stopped. "One more thing. Your demonstration showed lifting strength, but I suspect humans have other abilities you did not show today." Yuna nodded. "We do. I look forward to learning about them." Vorn left the room. Yuna picked up her bag and prepared to leave. As she walked toward the door, Roka stepped into her path. She stopped and looked up at him. His face was hard to read. The anger she expected was not there. Instead, she saw something else. Confusion, maybe even curiosity. "How?" he asked. His voice was quiet, nothing like the loud boasting from before. "How what?" "How did you lift me? I am twice your size, 3 times your weight. My scales alone weigh more than your entire body. It should not be possible." Yuna considered his question seriously. "On Earth," she said, "we have a long history of lifting things. Heavy stones, large animals, other humans. Our bodies evolved for it. We can carry weight for long distances. We can lift things many times our own weight with proper training. But why? Why would your species need this ability?" "Survival," Yuna said. "Our world was dangerous. We had to carry food, carry supplies, carry our children. Sometimes we had to carry injured members of our tribe for days while looking for safety. The ones who could not carry enough did not survive. The ones who could carry heavy things lived and had children." Roka was silent for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different, softer. "My people are predators. We evolved to kill. Speed, claws, teeth, venom. Everything about us is made for destruction." He paused. "I have never thought about what it means to carry things, to help others survive." Yuna saw something change in his eyes. The arrogance was fading. Something new was taking its place. "Predators are impressive," she said. "But predators are not the only survivors. Sometimes the prey species outlast the predators. Sometimes they find ways to become stronger." Roka nodded slowly. His tail moved behind him in a way that suggested deep thought. "I was wrong about you," he said finally. "I was wrong about humans." Yuna felt the tension leave her shoulders. This was what she had truly wanted. Not just to show off, not just to embarrass him, but to change his mind. "Thank you for saying that," she said. "Do not thank me yet." A small smile appeared on Roka's face. It looked strange with all those sharp teeth. "I still think my species is better, but I admit that humans are more than I expected." Yuna laughed. It was the first real laugh she had let out since arriving at the academy. "That is enough for now," she said. They walked out of the classroom together. The hallway was full of students going to their next class. Many stopped and stared when they saw Yuna and Roka walking side by side. "Everyone is looking at us," Roka observed. "They are looking at me," Yuna corrected. "You are old news. I am the new surprise." Roka made a rumbling sound in his chest. It took Yuna a moment to realize he was laughing. "Perhaps," he admitted. "But I will get my reputation back. I am still the biggest predator in this academy." "Maybe," Yuna said. "But now everyone knows that the smallest human can lift you." Roka groaned. "You will never let me forget that, will you?" Yuna smiled. "Never." The video spread across the galaxy in less than a day. Someone had recorded Yuna's demonstration and shared it on the galactic network. Within hours, billions of beings had watched the small human woman lift the massive predator. The reactions were mixed. Some species refused to believe it was real. They claimed the video was fake. They said it was manipulated or edited. No soft-skinned creature could lift a Fang warrior. It was impossible. Others were fascinated. They wanted to know more about humans. How did they develop such strength? What else could they do? Were all humans this powerful? A few species were frightened. If a single untrained human could lift 400 pounds, what could trained human soldiers do? What could an army of humans do? These species began to wonder if allowing Earth into the galactic community had been a mistake. Yuna knew none of this at first. She was too busy dealing with the attention at the academy. Every morning, students waited outside her room. They wanted to talk to her. They wanted to touch her arms and feel her muscles. They wanted to understand how she had done the impossible. Yuna answered their questions patiently, but it was exhausting. She had come to the academy to learn, not to be famous. 3 days after her demonstration, she received a message on her personal device. It was from Earth, from the Human Representative Council. She read the message in her room with growing surprise. Due to your demonstration at the Galactic Academy, humanity has received increased attention from numerous species. The Galactic Species Classification Board has officially upgraded humanity from Tier 3 to Tier 2 in physical ability. This is the fastest reclassification in galactic history. The Council thanks you for your service to humanity. Yuna sat down slowly. Tier 2. That put humans in the same category as many predator species. It meant better respect, better opportunities, better treatment for humans across the galaxy, all because she had lifted one arrogant alien. A knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. She opened it to find Bello standing there with his fur standing on end. "Have you seen the news?" he asked quickly. "What news?" "The Galactic News Network. They are talking about you, about humans, about everything." Yuna grabbed her device and pulled up the news feed. A creature with tentacles and multiple mouths was speaking. "The human demonstration has sparked debate across the galaxy. Is humanity more dangerous than we thought? Should we be concerned about their growing influence? We speak with experts from several species to discuss." The screen changed to show different aliens giving their opinions. A thin being with too many joints said, "Humans are clearly a threat. They pretend to be weak, then reveal hidden strength. This is predator behavior. We should restrict their access to sensitive areas." A round creature covered in eyes disagreed. "Humans have been peaceful since joining the galaxy. One strong individual does not make a species dangerous. We should not judge all humans by one female." A crystalline being chimed in. "The real question is what other abilities humans are hiding. If they can lift this much weight, what else can they do?" Yuna turned off the device. Her stomach felt tight. "This is not what I wanted," she said quietly. Bello moved closer. "What do you mean?" "I wanted to change how people saw humans. I wanted them to respect us. But now some of them are afraid of us." Bello's fur rippled as he thought. "Fear and respect are sometimes the same thing," he said. "Many species feared the Fang Collective before they learned to respect them. Perhaps this is how respect begins." Yuna was not sure she believed him, but she appreciated his words. Over the next few days, the situation at the academy changed. Some students who had ignored her before now nodded at her in the hallways. Some who had been friendly now kept their distance. The balance of social power had shifted, and not everyone liked it. Roka became her unexpected ally. The big predator walked with her to classes sometimes. He did not say much, but his presence kept other students from bothering her. "Why are you helping me?" Yuna asked him one afternoon. Roka shrugged, a gesture that looked strange on his huge body. "You earned my respect," he said simply. "In my culture, respect means loyalty. Until you do something to lose my respect, I will stand with you. Even if other Fang warriors criticize you for it?" Roka showed his teeth in what Yuna now recognized as a smile. "Let them criticize. If they have a problem with my choices, they can come and lift me themselves." Yuna laughed. Despite everything, she was starting to like Roka. He was not the cruel bully she had first met. Or maybe he was, but he was learning to be something more. A week after the demonstration, Instructor Vorn called Yuna to his office. The room was decorated with weapons and trophies from his home world. Everything was oversized for human visitors. Vorn sat behind a massive desk, his yellow eyes studying Yuna carefully. "You have caused quite a disturbance," he said. "I did not mean to cause problems." "I did not say problems. I said disturbance. Sometimes disturbance is necessary. He leaned back in his chair. The galaxy has not thought about humans much. You were new, small, unimportant. Now they are thinking. Some of them are afraid, Yuna said. Good. Yuna looked at him with surprise. Good? Vorn nodded slowly. The galaxy is not a kind place. Species that are not feared are often exploited. Species that show weakness are taken advantage of. Your demonstration showed that humans will not be easy targets. He stood up and walked to a window. Outside, ships moved through the darkness of space. I have lived for many cycles, Vorn continued. I have seen species rise and fall. The ones who survive are not always the strongest or the smartest. They are the ones who make others think twice before attacking them. So fear is protection, Yuna said. Fear is a tool. Like any tool, it can be used well or badly. You showed strength without violence. You proved capability without causing harm. That is the best kind of fear. The kind that prevents conflict instead of causing it. Yuna thought about his words. On Earth, humans had learned this lesson many times. Countries with strong militaries rarely had to use them. The threat of strength was often enough. What should I do now? She asked. Vorn turned to face her. Continue your studies. Learn everything the Academy can teach you. And when you return to Earth, take what you have learned back to your people. He paused. The galaxy is watching humanity now. What you do next matters. Yuna left his office with a heavy feeling in her chest. She had wanted to help her species. She had wanted to change their reputation, but she had not expected it to become such a large responsibility. That evening, she sat alone in her room and looked at the stars. Earth was out there somewhere. Her family. Her friends. Her home. They were all counting on humans like her to represent them well. She thought about everything that had happened. The mockery, the demonstration, the shock, the fear, the respect. She thought about Roka, who had changed from enemy to ally, about Bello, who had become a true friend, about Vorn, who saw more in her than she saw in herself. She thought about what it meant to be human, to be small but strong, to be soft but tough, to be underestimated and then prove everyone wrong. A message appeared on her device. It was from the Academy administration. Student Yuna, you have been selected to represent the Academy at the upcoming Galactic Physical Competition. Please report to the Athletics Department for training assessment. Yuna read the message 3 times. The Galactic Physical Competition. It was one of the biggest events in the galaxy. Species from hundreds of worlds competed to prove their physical abilities. She had just wanted to show one classroom what humans could do. Now she had the chance to show the entire galaxy. She typed a quick reply. I accept. Then she lay down on her bed and closed her eyes. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, new chances to prove that humans belonged among the stars. For now, she would rest. She would need all her strength for what came next. The stadium was enormous. Yuna had seen large buildings on Earth, but nothing compared to this. The arena stretched for miles in every direction. Floating platforms held millions of spectators from hundreds of different species. Giant screens showed images of the competitors as they entered. Yuna walked onto the field with her head held high. She wore the simple gray uniform of the Academy, with a small Earth flag on her shoulder. Around her, competitors from across the galaxy prepared for the events. She saw creatures of every shape and size, giants that stood 30 feet tall, tiny beings that flew on wings of light, machines that housed living minds, shapeshifters that changed form as they moved. The competition would test many things: speed, strength, endurance, agility, balance. No single species could win everything. The goal was to show what made each species unique. Roka found her in the preparation area. He was not competing today. He had come to watch. Are you ready? He asked. I think so. Yuna said. I have trained as hard as I can. Good. Remember, you do not need to win. You just need to show them what humans can do. Yuna nodded. She appreciated his support, but she also knew something he did not. She was not planning to just show up. She was planning to win. The strength competition came first. Competitors had to lift a series of increasingly heavy objects until they failed. The heaviest weight they successfully lifted would be their score. Species after species took their turn. A rock creature lifted 2,000 pounds. A metal being lifted 3,000. The current leader, a massive orange alien with 6 arms, had lifted 4,500 pounds. Then Yuna's name was called. She walked to the lifting platform. The crowd murmured. She was the smallest competitor by far. Many expected her to fail on the first weight. The first object was 200 pounds. Yuna lifted it easily. The crowd was silent. The second object was 400 pounds. Yuna lifted it and held it for the required 5 seconds. Some in the crowd began to pay attention. The third object was 600 pounds. Yuna bent her knees, positioned her body, and lifted. Her muscles strained, but she completed the lift. The crowd gasped. 800 pounds. Her arms shook, but she lifted it. 1,000 pounds. She screamed with effort, but she lifted it. The crowd was on their feet now. Millions of beings watched as this tiny human continued to lift weights that should have been impossible for her size. 1,200 pounds. Yuna failed. The weight did not move. She had reached her limit, but it did not matter. Her score of 1,000 pounds placed her in the top 10. For a species their size, humans had just proven they were among the strongest in the galaxy. The endurance competition came next. Competitors had to run around the arena until they could not continue. The last one standing won. Yuna took her place at the starting line. Around her were beings designed for speed and distance. Creatures with multiple legs, beings that could change their body shape for efficiency, machines that never got tired. The race began. At first, Yuna fell behind. The faster species shot ahead, leaving her in their dust. The crowd expected her to drop out within the first few minutes. But Yuna kept running. 1 hour passed. Half the competitors had dropped out. 2 hours passed. Only a quarter remained. 3 hours passed. The leaders were slowing down. Their bodies were not designed for this length of effort. They burned too hot, moved too fast, used too much energy. Yuna kept running. 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. The once fast creatures now stumbled and fell, their muscles cramped, their lungs burned, their bodies gave out. Yuna kept running. After 8 hours, only 3 competitors remained. Yuna, a tall blue being with long legs, and a machine that had been built for endurance. The blue being collapsed at the 9-hour mark. His body simply stopped working. Medics rushed to help him. Now it was just Yuna and the machine. 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. The machine showed no signs of stopping. It was designed for this exact purpose. It could run forever. But Yuna noticed something. The machine was slowing down. Not much, but a little. Its parts were overheating. Even machines had limits. 13 hours, 14 hours. At the 15-hour mark, the machine stopped. Smoke rose from its joints. A voice announced that it had overheated and could not continue. Yuna won. She fell to her knees on the track, completely exhausted. Her legs felt like they were made of water. Her lungs burned with every breath. But she had won. The stadium exploded with noise. Millions of beings cheered, screamed, and made sounds she could not identify. Giant screens showed her face. Commentators spoke rapidly in dozens of languages. The small human had just won the endurance competition against the entire galaxy. Later, at the award ceremony, Yuna stood on the platform with her medals, one for strength, one for endurance. 2 areas where humans had proven themselves to the galaxy. The head judge, an ancient being made of living light, addressed the crowd. Today we have seen something remarkable, it said. A species we knew little about has shown us their true nature. Humans are not just survivors. They are competitors. They are warriors. They are a species that refuses to quit. The crowd cheered again. The judge turned to Yuna. Do you have anything to say to the galaxy? Yuna looked out at the millions of beings watching her. She thought about her journey, the mockery, the demonstration, the shock, the fear, the respect. She thought about Roka, who sat in the crowd with pride in his eyes, about Bello, who was crying with joy, about Instructor Vorn, who nodded at her with approval. She thought about Earth, about her family, about every human who had ever been told they were not good enough. I have one thing to say, Yuna said. Her voice was broadcast across the galaxy. Humans are not the strongest species. We are not the fastest. We are not the toughest. But we are something else. We are persistent. We do not give up. We keep going when others stop. We stand up when others fall down. She paused, letting her words sink in. On Earth, we have a saying, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. That is what it means to be human. No matter how many times we fail, we get back up. No matter how hard things get, we keep trying. She looked directly at the camera, broadcasting her face across the galaxy. So if you ever think humans are weak, if you ever think we are easy targets, remember this day. Remember what one human did against the entire galaxy. And ask yourself, do you really want to fight a species that never gives up? The stadium was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, the applause began. It grew and grew until the noise was deafening. Yuna smiled. She had done what she set out to do. She had shown the galaxy what humanity was made of. Months later, Yuna graduated from the academy. She returned to Earth as a hero. Schools taught her story. Children dreamed of being like her. The human species had found its place among the stars. Roka visited her sometimes. He had become an ambassador for peace between humans and the Fang Collective. He liked to remind everyone that Yuna had once lifted him, but he always said it with pride now, not shame. Bello became a scientist who studied human biology. He wanted to understand how such a small species could do such amazing things. His research would help both their peoples. Instructor Vorn retired from teaching and wrote a book about Yuna's story. It became one of the most popular books in the galaxy. The title was simple, The Human Who Would Not Quit. And Yuna? She kept training, kept competing, kept showing the galaxy that humans belonged among the stars. Because that was what humans did. They never gave up.